Hey, what's going on to all the Tesla shareholders? In today's video, I wanted to make it clear as to where I believe Tesla will be heading in the future, and I'm sure you guys have already guessed it. I do believe that at some point, Tesla will be trading 250% higher than where it is currently at, and also that otherwise converts to 2.5x, right? If we go to Tesla, and also we have some massive hints from Cathie Wood herself, we can see some trends that can really differentiate ourselves from a lot of these other investors heading into 2022 because the equities market has a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. This is also starting to sprinkle in to the housing market, right? Real estate. I already hear a lot of people saying that the real estate market top is already in. But besides that, let's just head on over to what Cathie Wood is doing. Now, whether you still have a lot of conviction in her positions, that is completely different. I'm just simply showing you guys the data, letting you guys know what the ETF managers are doing.
That's a human being. That's a person with feelings. You don't have to agree with her. You could bet against her. You don't have to like her investment philosophy. That's a person. And they did this with Meredith Whitney 7 or 8 years ago. Same exact template. Comes out of obscurity, makes people a ton of money with a call, tries to do something bigger and better, gets media attention, and then they can't wait to rip her guts out. And I'm watching that same thing play out. It makes me sick. I really don't like it. I have no problem with people betting against an investment strategy. That's what we're all here to do, bet on or against. But the personal stuff, it's bad.
Since December, around the end of December, actually, they did decide to decrease or liquidate their Tesla position. And we know this because before December, around the end of December, she had much more Tesla shares because the portfolio allocation was around 8.52, and actually it was even 10 and 11%. And since then, end of December goes all the way to 7.17 as a low. And remember, this portfolio allocation, but you also have to remember she does rebalance quite a bit. And this rebalancing has allowed her to buy cheaper shares at a portfolio allocation of now 8.23. This is also very important because as of a few days ago, before January 31st of 2022, she was sitting at a portfolio allocation of around 7.98. Going from 7.98 to 8.23 in a matter of a few days, that is quite a bit. And it makes you wonder, why is she getting more and more Tesla shares when there's so much macroeconomic fears around federal tapering, about the federal balance sheet, and also about possibly a recession, right? I'm sure you guys have all heard about it. And also another trend that we can differentiate is the fact that she bought ticker symbol XPEV, which is located or based in China. And so we see here that the portfolio allocation in ARKQ is 1.46. However, since the start of the ETF, or since it was included in the ETF, it has definitely risen quite a bit because it was at 0.56. So going from 0.56 to 1.46, that is definitely a difference, and it makes you wonder, why is she continuously buying? And I'm sure also you guys have heard that she has also been buying ticker symbol HOOD. A lot of people are actually buying that stock just because they believe that it is very cheap fundamentally.
You're telling me Goldman Sachs could do a Robin Hood buyout for $6 billion and they're not talking about it? I think there are a lot of situations like that where you don't have to like the company, but you just look at wait a minute, some of these things are a super low risk for an acquisition. We just witnessed a massive deal with Microsoft buying Activision. If you think that's the last one we're going to see in Q1 with the NASDAQ down 19%, I think you'd be wrong there. I think you're going to see a lot more.
But that's not where I want to end, because that was just RK. I want to go into RQ to see if this trend still is consistent, and if so, that's great. So 10.44 portfolio allocation as of January 31st, 2022. If we go just to January 28th, it was just at 10. January 27th, 9.97. And let's go around that same date as well, December, end of December. We go from 9.96 to, again, 10.44. If we go all the way just a little bit to the beginning of December, we actually see a decrease because she was at around 11 for the portfolio allocation. She has decreased, but remember, she then increased it because she was rebalancing the portfolio, and it has been working. Last but not least, let's take a look at ARKW. Current portfolio allocation is around 7.81. It has since increased from trading day before that. We were at 7.13. It really makes you wonder, why is she doing this with so many macroeconomic fears? And now that we got the Cathie Wood trends out of the way, you guys saw for yourselves, right? The data is there. It shows that she is continuously buying Tesla shares more recently now, and she has been taking advantage of these dips, right? And whether you consider it to be a dip or not, we're going to be discussing that right now. And I really think what helped the markets today was ticker symbol GOOG, which is Google. Take a look at that. Wonder why? It was because they had earnings, and with earnings, the stock went from the lows of around 2,500 to now almost, I think in after hours, it was trading around 3,000. So pretty dramatic. And it was because they announced a stock split. But if we go back to Tesla again, I think that, remember, in the beginning of the video, we stated that a 2.5x or 250% by 2022. The reason for that expectation is because of what Elon Musk was also hinting at in his earnings call, a lot about robotics and artificial intelligence rather than just the car. And you could really see a diversification of where he wants to take Tesla. Now, I'm not going to be talking a lot about the Tesla earnings in today's video. I can make a separate video on that. However, I just want to talk technical analysis. And remember, this technical analysis is not going to be just with chart patterns, because quite honestly, that is not the way to try to understand where the stocks are going to be moving on a day-to-day basis. Because if we can look at the SPX, sure, we can have some levels. If you want to trade minute by minute, that is completely different. In my previous video, I think it was my yesterday's video or 2 days ago, I stated that the first level for the upside, 4,545. And we decided to hit this level exactly, except it went, I believe, a dollar or two higher. So level 1 already acquired. Now, where do we go from here? This isn't going to sound the best. However, I think that it will allow Tesla to go to that 2.5x with an even higher probability from today's date, because Tesla is currently trading at, let's see the exact price, at $931. Okay, 931. And if we go back to the SPX, here's where it gets interesting, because I think there will be more times to buy Tesla, and I think we could get it cheaper, which will allow the 2.5x to happen with a better probability. So if we go here, the next level that I'm looking at is 4360. So let's go ahead and draw this level. And once we get that level drawn out, there's also another level that I'm looking at right now, and that is 4080. I know these levels are a little bit drastic. However, with the current market situation, you really don't know if the rug is going to be pulled and at what time. So if the rug decides to get pulled, and let's say that the SPX, right, the reason why it's going up is because the shorts decide to cover their positions. That makes sense, right? And this could even continue, and we could break out of this level. And I actually think there could be a higher probability of that because Google had their earnings and Google saved the market. I truly do believe that, because now I think the QQQ, right, which is the tech index, I think a lot of the stocks in the tech index, they're going to have a rebound as well, because a lot of these stocks are just completely down. And guess what? I do think that Tesla is in the QQQ. After all, it is a tech stock. And also, if anyone is in Amazon right now, I think Amazon is going to be benefiting a lot because of Google's earnings. I just think tech in general is going to have a bounce tomorrow. Now, tomorrow is February 2nd, but what does that do for Tesla long term? Long term, I do believe that Tesla will be given more dip buying opportunities. If you didn't buy it recently at around $800, I don't think you should be worrying, because I do think Tesla will be retesting those levels. That should not be fearful. That should not be, any fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That should simply be based off these levels. And whether you decide to use these levels or not, completely entirely up to you. I'm not a financial advisor, but again, these are just the levels that I'm looking at, which would place Tesla, I think, around 800 again, right? That 800 level. And if we do 800 times 2.5, that would give us a share price of $2,000. Some people will say that it's not going to happen this year because, again, of all those macroeconomic news, uncertainty, etc., and that is perfectly fine. If not this year, the next year. Just a little bit more waiting. I honestly don't think it'll take that long, because the S&P 500 may be very volatile right now, but I think the end of the year targets is still around $5,000, and we are currently trading at around 4,500. So 5,000, where are we going to go with 5,000? Not 2,000 for Tesla. That is not what it's going to equate to. But S&P is not going to be stuck at 5,000 forever, or around this trading range right here, this balance, because right now we are balancing. We have no idea where the market wants to go just yet, and we can't just guess. We have to see what the market presents us, and I think we're just going to have to wait to see what that converts to in Tesla. And remember, everyone, this is just all near term, right? Near term, Tesla 800, Tesla 792, etc. Long term, you guys know my opinions towards that. 250% increase, or 2.5x, which would equate to around $2,000. And again, if not this year, then possibly next year. And if not next year, then the year after that. You guys get what I'm trying to say. I don't think that $2,000 is impossible for Tesla. Let me know your opinions in the comment section below. And also, for you guys to hear more opinions about market rebalancing going on right now, for some of you guys that like to trade a little bit more day to day rather than long term, then take a listen to what this individual had to say.
I can't tell you definitively that I think we've seen the bottom, because we really are probably in for another few weeks of inflation data that the market is going to look at that and say, oh, sixth rate hike. oh, now it's a seventh rate hike. Like, we're still in that phase, which I think ultimately will be wrong. But I can't tell you that the market's not going to have negative reactions to that stuff.